So today's video, we are going to do some more applications with our angle measures. The first one, we've got our bow tie problem. I see I'm looking for x over here. I have two angles over here, so I'm going to start where the angles are. And the only thing I can find right now is this missing angle right here. I know all three angles in a triangle add up to 180. So I do 180 minus 66 minus 22, and that is going to leave me with 92 for this angle measure. The vertical angles are congruent, so if this is 92, then this is 92. Now since this is x and this is x, that's telling me that these two angle measures are congruent. So I do 180 minus 92, which leaves me with 88 degrees. I have 88 degrees left for those two remaining angles, so I divide 88 into two congruent angles of 44 and 44. Because they are congruent, I could divide them into two equal pieces, which allows me to find that x is going to be equal to 44 degrees. Next one, and this one is definitely going to be a test question, number 1 is as well, but this also is on the SAT. When I look at this, I want to get to x. So I use my numbers and I want to use them to build to x. When I see 100, I see that these two angles right here are forming a linear pair. So this is 100, then this is going to be 80. If I look over here, this is 140, which means that this has to be 40, again because of the linear pair. And then the last remaining angle has to be 60 because the three angles have to add up to 180. So I do 180 minus 80 minus 40. And that last leaves us with x. X and 60 are a linear pair. So I find that x is going to be 180 minus 60, which leaves us with 120. So we find that x is going to be 120 degrees. Number 3, this is going to be a combination of problems. I want to get to x. Right now I can't find out what x is, so I want to build there. When I see that this is 70 and this is 70, that tells me that I have an isosceles triangle. If it's an isosceles triangle, the base angles are congruent and the sides opposite those base angles are also congruent. So if this is 35, then this is also going to be 35. Now I have a right angle and I have two legs of my triangle, which means I can use Pythagorean theorem. Leg squared plus leg squared is equal to the hypotenuse squared. 12 squared and 35 squared gives me 1,369. And to get x, remember I'm going to square root each side. And I end up with x is going to be equal to 37. All right, here comes our last one, and this is a big one. This is going to be on your test. We're going to kind of put everything together that we know about for this unit. We have our triangle ABC. The first thing I want to do is I want to classify the triangle by its side lengths, which means I need to know the length of each side. One side is easy. If I have a horizontal or vertical line, all I have to do is count. So I count here and I find that this length is 12. So we start off with knowing that BC is 12. That's nice. But I still need to find AB, I need to find AC, and because they're diagonals, I have to use that distance formula, not Pythagorean theorem, I have to use the distance formula. So we have y2 minus y1, so we've got 3 minus a negative 5, quantity squared, plus 0 minus a negative 6. That means that I'm adding, so I've got 8 squared plus 6 squared, 64 plus 36, square root of 100, and the length of AB is going to be 10. Now we need to go over to AC. Again, we're going to use the distance formula. So we look at the coordinates for A, go to C, so 3 minus a negative 5, quantity squared, plus 0 minus 6, quantity squared. Minus a negative means that we're adding, so I've got 8 squared plus a negative 6 squared. When I square a negative, it becomes positive, so that's a positive 64 and a positive 36, which we get a square root of 100, which is 10 again. So we have that this missing side length over here is going to be 10. So if I want to classify it by its side lengths, I'm going to say that this is going to be an isosceles triangle because 2 of the 3 sides are congruent. Remember, we always are going to justify our answer. Explain, how did you know it was going to be isosceles? What made you draw that conclusion? And the last one is classifying it by the angle measures. Now, for this one, the only thing I know about my triangle right now are the 3 side lengths. And if you remember back to our Pythagorean theorem day, I can figure out if it's right, obtuse, or acute using my side lengths and the inequality theorem. So my 2 sides are 10, 10, and 12. I pick the largest side, and I want to figure out how is that related to the squares of the other 2 sides. Well, 12 squared is 144, 10 squared and 10 squared is 200. Because the largest side squared is less than the side lengths, they're the legs squared, this is going to be an acute triangle. And again, remember, don't forget, this is a big question on your test worth lots and lots of points. And that's going to be it for our video today.